Hey, besties. Let's throw some shade, honey. You ready to get into it? Huh. Besties, did you know the Real Housewives of Orange County started back last night on Thursday night? I learned of this yesterday morning. I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot stand a Thursday night show, but Orange County, they stay on Thursdays, and it's fine. Just know that the my recap may come out Friday, Saturday at the latest, because August 1st, life after lockup starts back. So that's Friday night. So I'm probably gonna just do my review on Thursday, go to bed, get up, go to work, come home, do the review of life after lockup, and Saturday morning give you two videos. Okay. Now, baby, let's get into this because I'm going to tell you some things. We got to unpack some things. But welcome back, besties. You are now behind the shade, and thanks for joining me. I recap your favorite reality shows weekly. Now, let's kiki and ha ha and get into a new episode, a new season of The Real Housewives of Orange County. It is season 19, besties. Episode 1, Revolving Door of Lies. Now, let me tell you, first, let me ask you, how would you rate this week's episode if you saw it? And we don't have to rate it. It's the first one. It kind of is like the interview of what's going on, what people are going to be giving. And I'm going to tell you this, child, Emily may be getting her karma, or maybe this is her maybe this is how she's lining her storyline up so that we can forget how she was just talking about everybody last season. Girl, her confessionals alone was just shady. And now all of a sudden her son has a form of he's on the spectrum, right? He's autistic. And now we're going to cry this whole season about it. We're going to have parent guilt about it. But you was sitting here rah on everybody else. You was talking bad about Katie's parenting. And I'm like, well, if this is new, if this diagnosis is new, excuse me, then this is your karma. But I think those twins are like 9. I'm sure this eating disorder has shown up before now, but you want to bring it to us so that we can forget about how awful you were last season. Whatever, but it works for me. It works for reality TV, so it's fine, right? So, what else? Let's get into it, but honey, I'm gonna tell you right now, my girl is coming back. I loved Gretchen Rossi. Loved. She graced our screens in season 4. She exited the show season 8. I was not happy about this, not at all. Let me drink some of my coffee. Good morning. Hey, new subscribers. Hello to the besties that comment more. Okay. When I saw the title, right? Revolving Door of Lies, I said, Katie. And I just don't want to go through this whole season dealing with this mess again. Like, I don't want to deal with this. But Jen kind of breaks it down on what is going on. But then we got to go back and remember that Katie has been adopted by a white family. So there might be an identity crisis or an identity something issue there with her, and she doesn't really know where she fits in, or she's trying to fit in, or she's, a circle in a box or whatever, right? So I know I don't want to go this whole season with this mess. So I woke up and I was wondering, well, is Gretchen going to take Katie's place? Like, is she going to get put off the show? Is that why Gretchen is going to come in? And so I did some work, They said Gretchen is not taking the place of Katie. Gretchen is going to be a friend of to the show, but it says something about that Katie does not finish this season. Something about Gretchen and Emily are going to get into it. I believe in Amsterdam, not sure. And production feels like Katie needs to leave the show. She's not a good fit for reality because she lies so much. And then we're going to have to hear Heather tell us over and over again that she told us so. Okay, let's get into it. So after the reunion, Shannon and Katie got closer because Katie feels like Shannon was the only one that had her back and blah, 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 blah. Now, let me say, Shannon looks good this season. She looks good. She's not stressed. She looks good. She looks good. But what is wrong with Emily's face? Child, she didn't got work done and it's not looking great. Maybe she's not healed yet, but I was like, Emily, ooh. And I promise you, besties, I am going to have Emily and Gina's name together. I'm going to have it together. Because remember, Emily looks like she should be Gina, and Gina looks like an Emily. Remember, last season, I was kind of getting them mixed up a lot because they just switched names. Let's get into it, okay? I won't hold you. So they're best friends. They're going out car shopping. Shannon needs air for her BMW or her. I thought she drove a BMW, but when they went, was they at the Mercedes? Let's just say they was at the BMW dealership. It's not important. I didn't even write the notes down because I'm not supposed to talk about every little thing in the show. I'm going to try to just give you guys the meat and the potatoes. We don't want the vegetables. So Shannon says she is a different person. You will not know her if you knew her last year. She ended up settling with John Jansen. This is another thing I don't want to keep talking about. I don't want to keep hearing about Katie lying. I don't want Heather to keep telling us she told us so. And I don't want to hear about John Jansen. So hopefully that name will phase out by episode 3. I'll give you to episode 3, Shannon. She says she settled with him for $60,000. Now remember, he was suing her for $75,000. And so she was telling Jen that she was doing her manifestations and men were not her focus. They were not on her list. She's over it. There's nothing wrong with that, Shannon. You need a break. Relationships are beautiful when they're great. But when you pick the wrong one, they can leave you a little tired, ready to focus on other things like planting a garden, reading, traveling. Yeah, peace is important. Peace is more important. And I like that for Shannon. So, Travis and Gina has moved back in together. She had to because he was looking like a little lost puppy dog every time she saw him. So, honey, they have a 5-bedroom home together. It is at 2,800 square feet. That is a big house. That's a nice size house. So, she lied to us. Remember when Gina kept saying how we can't afford the house that we need because they got kids. She has 3, I believe he has 2, and they got dogs. So she kept saying how they don't make enough money for the house that they would need. And so she let us know that was all cap. Well, she was speaking out of fear. She was that ex-wife was a lot. She did not want to involve herself. But what she said last season made sense. Remember, Bessie, when she said, well, if I want to take my kids to Disneyland, I'm not going to just take my 3 while his 2 are just sitting there. And then she said at the same time, she doesn't want to take all 5 kids either, plus Travis, because now she's making money. And she was like, she doesn't want, but this made perfect sense. She didn't want her kids to miss out. or anything because of the relationship that she was in. So I think the breakup was necessary to get back together, right? So what she told us, she took a trip to Bali and she, was very clear. Bali is very zen and serene and peaceful, and you can get into your inter person and your spirituality, and you could hear the birds and the butterflies and the ants crawling up a tree, so she's more free in her thinking now. She has her head on straight, right? So, honey, the word on the curb is that Emily's ex nanny told Katie crap about Emily's kids and all those rumors. They don't like Heather, all that old stuff, right? And so Katie gave the nanny the podcaster's information. Remember, her daughter went on to a podcast and was talking and kind of talked about that. Well, Katie was in the mix, honey, mixing it up, stirring it up. So Emily made a point, though. She said, other podcasters report on that kind of stuff for clickbait and to make money, right? So, if you put something up with Emily from Real Housewives of Orange County, everybody is gonna attack that, read it, clip it, make their own video, and try to gain monetization on it. And so she said, this kind of rumor will grow legs, and it's not cool. So um, Katie feels like it was okay for her daughter to go on the podcast, right? And so she says she's mad at Emily for how Emily came for her losing her custody battle with her kids. This was at the reunion when Emily was just, all in her face. And, I'm like, okay, Emily. I think we're going to get a more humble Emily this season. So Emily said, some awful things to her, and she never apologized for that. So, in other words, Katie was paying her back. She don't like her, so she was mad. So she wanted to get her get back. I ain't mad. It's good for TV. Now, child, only Tamra. Leave it up to Tamra. Tamra Judge. Tamra is walking into her therapy session crying already. She's walking in. She hates doing this. She's been doing the therapy thing for a couple of months. Remember, Andy had brought it up at the last reunion that, oh, you're going to start therapy on Monday, right? And so she's like, she's not keen with opening up about stuff. Her custody battle with Simon, her daughter leaving, her father leaving. There's a lot of abandonment issues there. And so you remember Tamara let us know after the reunion, honey, that she is on the spectrum. I'm like, not you going to the doctor, they trying to diagnose you, and now you're on the spectrum because you spaz out so much. There may be some truth. I don't know. Let's keep going. It was giving Chrisette Michelle to me. Okay. So Tamara said her goals are now to, stop lashing out. And she wants to fix things now instead of just rah, 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 rah. And so, she feels like her daughter Sydney just doesn't understand her. And that's why they're so divided. And and it upsets her that Sydney doesn't even want to understand Tamara. So Tamara says she doesn't trust people. She doesn't want to open up because she doesn't want to get hurt. Understandable, but honey, you can't. I'm glad she's in therapy because she's tired, right? She's tired. Okay. So Jen and Ryan, honey, they are getting married soon. They're at some store that sells, swimwear. He wants to get married in shorts, and he wants Jen in a white bikini, and that's it. Now he proposed to her on the beach in a bikini. And she's like, no, that was for the engagement. No, like she wants, the things. And so they're supposed to get married on a beach in Cabo and have all the kids with them. Jen says she don't fool with Tamara. Ryan said, yeah, because she's jealous and she's fake. And they don't think her therapy is real because the baptism that she got 10 years ago didn't help her out either. I'm like, well, you guys, if she keeps up with the therapy, maybe she'll get baptized again and then she'll be a better Tamra. Work with her. But honey, Jen was telling us how Tamara was acting back when they had the gym. You know, her and Eddie had the gym. She said Tamara used to take her shirt off and show him her chest, and very flirty Tamara, right? Tamara's been over to his house talking about I might have to take one for the team. And so Jen's thing is, what, are you mad at me because he chose me? And it's like, well, Jen, Tamara's married. How is he gonna choose her? Oh, was she gonna be up for cheating on Eddie with Ryan? Child, the drama. So Heather, Emily, and Tamara go to dinner, right? Tamara blocked Katie on IG. What is happening? So Tamara blocked Katie on IG. Katie gonna ask Tamara, why did she block her? Lady, why do you care? Is that even a conversation? And why are you keeping up with people that block you? Um, it's giving weirdo energy. Okay. So what happened was a content creator said Tamara was running these troll accounts. You know how they get behind these accounts and get to talking crazy and, don't think that it's linked up to them. We all know this game already, Tamara. And the trolls are people coming from a different country and they say all the racial slurs and they just say all the things, right? And they all do it. I think, isn't that really why Lisa Rinna got fired from Beverly Hills? Isn't that the real reason? Because and then wasn't someone bullying? Wasn't child? They all do it. Oh, Salt Lake City, Beverly Hills, or they all do it. So um Tamara, went on air and told the content creator that, she will be hearing from her attorney. I was like, that was giving fake lie. Shut up, move on. So the content creator told Tamara that Katie is the one that DM'd her and told her all the things, right? And so I'm like, why, Katie? That, like, I don't want this. None of us want this. We went through this last season. Remember, besties, the two words I was so sick of saying was Johnny J, and I was sick of hearing about paparazzi. Thank God Alexis is not on the show. Oh God, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. So it's like, why does Katie make excuses? Why does she get involved in mess? Why is she just, this is none of her business? Why is she just, and so the ladies are saying, like, none of her stories add up, and so Jen said, Jen is supposed to be her best friend. And one of them said, Jen calls her a con artist. Child, not a con artist. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Take Katie off my TV now, please. Child, not a con artist. So, child, Emily is feeling like the worst mom in the world. She's at home with her family. Shane is losing all his hair on the top. He has it on the sides and the back. I don't know what that is he's trying to keep, but Shane, it's time to spray that hole in the top of your head. It's time to go get something, Rogaine, Hair Club for Men. What's new out? They got that topic spray, the fiber. It's time to get the fiber in the top of your head, Shane. So she's feeling terrible because her son, like I said, Luke, has an eating disorder that's linked to autism. And so she's emotional. She feels guilty. And so with this he has they gave him some letters, four of them. And so what this eating disorder does is he doesn't really know when he's hungry. He's never hungry. He doesn't like to eat. He doesn't like smells. Oh, it's pretty awful. But I think, but Shane is feeling pretty good. He says, at least we know about it. We can get ahead of it and we can, deal with it now so he can kind of maybe grow out of it. But can you imagine never being hungry And when he's starving, his mind doesn't tell him it's time to eat. So, of course, when you don't eat, you're moody and you attitudey. And so they have to make him have his snacks. So she was like asking him, what did you have, for at school? Do you want to eat? And he was like, I have pirate's booty. And that's like that little air popcorn puff stuff. And it was like, that's all you ate? That doesn't get you full at all. So she was trying to, make him a sandwich or something. He just wasn't hungry. And I'm like, wow, to see that it is like, wow. But Emily, I mean, there I go. But Emily, I hope to see a better you this season. That karma came back quick, unless this is just storyline stuff. Anyway, so Emily is emotional. She feels guilty. So they go meet up, her and Gina go meet up with Katie for some coffee. But Gina didn't tell Katie that Emily was coming. I said, girl, not you ambushing this lady. So Gina wanted Katie to, to drum. She didn't want her to drum up any more lies. She wanted to get authentic, maybe some transparency out of Katie. So Gina tells Katie that she lost a lot of trust in her. And, Katie takes it in like, Gina tells Katie that Jen called her a con artist. Katie doesn't believe it. She's like, she didn't say that. Katie then tells Emily, that she dealt with her ex nanny because it was, it was what it was. That's just what we did, right? And so Emily said, well, come to me next time. Don't be going around talking about stuff. Talk to me. If she comes to you, then you come to me. Didn't we discuss how we was going to do this before? And so Katie's like, oh, and so they did run the flashback where they decided that, we talked to each other. And Katie agreed, and she did not do that. And so Emily was like, well, here is my boundary. Don't bring my kids into nothing. You understand? So Katie tells us it's Emily's fault because she brought up her kids in that custody battle. I said, not you getting your lick back. Katie said, yeah, but you was talking about my kids and my custody battle. So, honey, Katie said, all bets are off, honey. I'm going to get you where I get you, honey. Katie a little sneaky something. She better be careful. So then Katie apologizes to Emily because what else is there to do? Because Gina's sitting there looking at you with her big old eyes like, ooh, your turn, your turn, your turn. So then Emily says, she doesn't trust her. And then Katie excuses herself like, oh, I got to go get these kids. I got to go buy love, hugs, hugs. Emily was like, I'm good. No, keep that over there. I'm good. I was like, Emily, you okay, girl? Okay, Emily. I like what you bringing, girl. I like what you bringing. Ciao. So the ladies are invited by Shannon to go to some retreat for the day called the Golden Door. And baby, it's some ritzy old place where it's almost $13,000 to stay there for 8 days. And celebrities go there a lot. You got likes of Oprah, Julia Roberts, Susan Sarandon. You got Elizabeth Taylor used to go there, Zaza Gabora, and now we have Shannon. And I'm like, well, if this is how Shannon is looking good and looking at peace, then baby, I'm glad you settled with John. And that's where that $15,000 that you didn't pay him, you went ahead and put it over here at the Golden Door. Okay, Shannon, I see what you did there. Okay, girl. So Shannon and Tamara haven't talked since the reunion. Tamara feels thrown away, and it's just like, I just cannot believe this. And so Eddie is telling her, well, Shannon is not a real friend. Okay, we're talking about Shannon here. And it's like, shut up. But that's how husbands do. They're going to rah-rah for you, tell you the truth, and let you know. So Tamara tells us that Teddy is in the hospital. Teddy Mellencamp. She's friends with Kyle over there in Beverly Hills, and she has a podcast, I think, with Tamara. Yeah, two peas in a pod. Is two T's in a pod? Two T's, Tamara and Teddy. I think that's what it's called. But Teddy is in the ICU, you guys. So say a prayer for. She might be doing better now, but she had multiple brain tumors. Yes. And remember, you guys, you know she is out of the hospital because remember they were saying they had some footage of Kyle and Teddy outside somewhere, and anyway, I think Teddy is up and running again, so good for her. And so at that time, it wasn't looking good, and so Tamara showed up crying and sad, and so Emily asked Shannon, why does she invite Katie? And so she read a list of all the things why, all the reasons why she doesn't trust Katie. Child, Emily was like, she lied about the paparazzi. She this, my kids, the nanny. That she had a list, honey. Gina wants to baptize her. She needs to be baptized. And Heather is like, I told y'all so. Last year I was trying to tell y'all, but nobody believed me that this girl is nuts. Okay. So then Shannon wants everyone to heal. So at the golden door, four of them will do some drumming. So that'll be Katie, Shannon, Emily, and Jen. And then Tamara, Gina, and Heather will go do some Tai Chi. So after they did their wellness program and everybody felt good about the drumming, you're getting that stress out. The Tai Chi got you connected with your inner self, whatever. And all Heather gonna say, all I learned about the Tai Chi is how to pour my coffee or her tea, baby. Okay, we gonna laugh. Ha 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 ha. Oh wait, speaking of Heather, I didn't put this in the notes because it just wasn't important, but here I am. So what's going on with Heather, y'all? Remember the penthouse they had got? So they were there, but it was all gutted out. And so they stopped construction on the penthouse because they had a budget. Let me get the number. I'm just going to do a guesstimate. I think the budget, let's say the budget was 10, I don't know, do I say million maybe? And then the contractors started gutting out the place, and then they wanted to upcharge them another 8 million, and it was going to take 3 years to get it finished. And I think her last child is headed for high school. And so to Heather, it just didn't make sense to move forward because by the 3 years, the kid gonna be gone and they'll probably need something smaller. Maybe that's, but they didn't say that. But now that I'm thinking, they said it out loud. Maybe that's why they were like, this is just not worth it. And so, Terry was like, yes, let's just go on and get something else. I'm like, God, that is some rich, rich. And so Heather's like, well, we got to put the floor in the house. We can't just sell it without a floor. And he was like, well, that's another $45,000. Child, to be rich. So that's what they're doing. So what happened? What happened? Okay, so where's my notes? Okay, so afterwards, Tamara says to keep Jen away from her. And Jen, they ask Jen how she feel about Tamara. She like, whatever. She is in love getting married. She don't care about Tamara. So Tamara says Ryan and Jen go in on her so hard on social media, but she can't say anything because Ryan will sue her. And so she said, but it's nice to know, I live rent free in Jen's head. And then production had a picture of Tamara in Jen's hair. I said, they are so petty, but I love it. I'm here for it. So they sit down for lunch, and Katie invites everyone to do a hot pot on like that week or whatever. And everybody's just sitting there like, who's she talking to? You, me, you? I think one person said they would come, and it was Jen. And it was like, well, duh, we're best friends. But that was funny. So Katie is trying to extend an olive branch to the ladies, because she came in lying and she's still lying. And so Heather just looked at her and said, you know what? You have to stop talking to the bloggers. You have to stop. But then we find out, besties, Jen told us the reason why she talks to them is because she considers them friends. She considers the bloggers her real friends. And so they did a flashback. No, not a flashback. I forgot what Carlos King calls it, but this was some footage that they never showed. And they were in a car, Jen and Katie, and Katie was telling Jen that one of them had invited her to that one of the bloggers had invited her to her birthday party. It seemed like she was gonna go because these are her friends. So Katie tells them that Jen said she didn't call her a con artist. Jen says, I have questions and I ask my questions. Katie answers them, and then, we leave it at that and move on. And it's like, oh, so you accept the lies. That's why y'all friends, because you keep her comfortable. You're being, I don't know if it's fake, but you're definitely keeping her comfortable. So Emily tells them that she hired an attorney to sue the ex nanny. So she's like, well, how is this going to look where I'm suing the ex nanny that you trying to be cool with? And then on the other hand, I'm supposed to get to know you, Katie. She was like, no, explain how that's supposed to look. I was like, okay. And Katie, she just sitting there looking like, oh, I didn't think about that. So Heather explains how Katie makes them feel when she deals with bloggers. And so then the producer had asked Katie, well, why would the blogger lie and say you called her and you're saying that she DM'd you? So Katie says, bloggers lie. And I want to say, you mean they lie to TOO. And so she said they do anything to get clickbait and make money. That's what they do. Then why do you interact with them? Because you don't have to. So Gina tells her that she needs to clear up this lie right here, right now about Tamra, right about, she said, so Katie had every excuse on earth why she couldn't look up the DMs on her phone. I don't have service. My SOS isn't working. And so Gina is like, you have a chance right now to clear this up. Like if she reached out to you first, then let us see the DM. If not, then you look like a liar all over again. And so she said, I don't have any service. And so Gina said, yeah, she doesn't want to do it. She doesn't want to do it. And that was the end of the episode. And Katie, like, I'm not doing this, Katie. I'm sorry, ma'am. Bravo. Get her out of here. Because I'm not going to come home from a long day at work and sit up here at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time and take notes of this show that will have me up to about 11:30 with Katie and all this lying. I'm not going to do it, besties. I'm not going to do it. Katie ain't finna stress me out. And then I got to get up and go to work on Friday and work all day Friday. You not finna stress me out with this drama. So, besties, all I got to say, girl, I cannot wait to see Gretchen. And I hate that her and Emily are going to be funkin', but it is what it is. The besties, drop down in the comments. Let me know what you thought about tonight's episode, which was last night. Let me know what you thought about the first episode of season 19. Please like my video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and make sure your notification bell is on, ding dong, so that you know each and every time I post my content. And I'll be back with another recap. This week, it'll be Sunday, The Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion part 1. Yes. And then Monday will be Basketball Wives. Then next Saturday, I don't have the date in front of me. Is it the 19th of July? Love and Marriage Huntsville. Y'all come on back because that day I'm going to do the review after I watch the show. It is going to be something to see how they have done this show without Melody. It can be done, but we just haven't seen it yet. And that's that on that. I'll be back with another recap. Bye, besties.